Now available in paperback and e-readers, eSteam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice, social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new eSteam series adventure. Get eSteam Cancel Vacation in paperback and e-readers today. There are a lot of individuals who are a part of corporate America who believe that artificial intelligence will become the next revolution in American business. Now, these corporate executives, Hollywood moguls, and big business executives believe that artificial intelligence, or AI, will become the next big American business revolution, similar to the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century. And because they believe that we are in a technological revolution, they are making efforts to replace real people with artificial intelligence that will go out and do the jobs that were employed by all of those people who had these jobs. Now, these efforts are being waged by people like Google CEO Sundar Pichai, who has made efforts to lay off thousands of workers in an effort to get Google ready to put machine learning, or AI, artificial intelligence, as a part of its business operations. And over in Hollywood, we have SAG-AFTRA looking to make a deal with companies like Replica Studios, an artificial intelligence voice company, to license actors' voices for use in video games, and look to pass over voice actors who go out and make a living doing voices on these projects. Now, these campaigns to replace real people with artificial intelligence have a lot of folks out here in many jobs anxious because they fear that their jobs will be replaced. However, I believe that what's going to happen with AI is that AI may wind up going out as a product in an ignominious fashion, similar to what's happening right now with the electric car. Now, back in 2020, we had many on the left pushing for the electric car to replace the internal combustion engine car because they said it would be allegedly safer for the environment and would use less resources than an internal combustion engine. However, over the last 4 years, as many in government and big business have looked to push to make electric cars the standard, many of the technical issues with these cars are making people think twice before they make a purchase of these vehicles. Now, the issues with lithium-ion batteries and their instability is the main reason why many people are rethinking buying electric cars, because many of these electric cars are basically having their batteries do what that they do in laptops like MacBook Pros, where they get puffed up, and in some cases these batteries become so unstable they wind up setting themselves on fire, and in some cases they wind up burning up these cars, and if they're in somebody's garage, they wind up burning up that person's home. And this is exacerbated by what we've seen here in New York City with many of these e-bikes that have set fires to homes, making people homeless. So it's not really helping the environment if you have these unstable batteries destroying people's lives in their homes. So many people are rethinking these electric cars and even these e-bikes, and what's really making them rethink it is how dangerous this technology is, because it's clearly not ready. Moreover, when it comes to the electric car, there is no infrastructure really set up to maintain these vehicles, and people are soon finding that the cost of maintaining these vehicles is basically so much that it's just cheaper to continue on with their internal combustion vehicles. And the same type of buyer's remorse that people had with these electric cars, I believe is going to happen with artificial intelligence, and I believe it's going to happen with with artificial intelligence because you, when it comes to certain businesses, need a human element for that business to be able to function well. Because you've got many people in big tech, a lot of them are nerds, and they aren't used to being social, so they don't understand that people need human connections with other humans in order to do business. And an AI-based technology, it's not going to be something people want to interact with in parts of the business, such as customer service. I mean, you've got some people in big tech and big business believing they can get rid of a call center, but the whole thing is a call center is a core to a business, because businesses are all about human connections and connections with people, and businesses make money primarily based on two things. One, their whole business relationship with the customer, and two, with the experience that the customer receives. And with AI, you get a cold, detached experience that doesn't make you feel like you're connecting with someone, and that doesn't really help you connect with a business or connect with a product. So a lot of these corporate types, they're caught up in AI because they're caught up in their feelings about saving money, but they're not really thinking about the long-term impact of AI on their business. Because if you have a cold, indifferent, and detached experience with a business, then you're not going to want to continue doing business with that business. And the business that goes out here and looks to serve people will be the one that winds up replacing you. That's what many of these corporate types really aren't thinking about, especially those in entertainment, because you've got a lot of folks in Hollywood looking to try to cut costs on their films, their animated series, and their TV shows by hoping they would be able to use AI to replace actors. And they believe that if they use AI to replace the actors, they will reap bigger profits. However, I don't see them making many profits at all, because without that personal connection from real people, people don't have an incentive to watch any of that entertainment. Yes, AI can make pictures, and yes, it can replicate voices, but it takes real people who have real life experiences to make those stories come alive. And usually when a person does something, it creates a personal connection with the audience that makes them feel that there's somebody human there. That's why people prefer hand-drawn animation over CGI, because hand-drawn animation has that human touch, and it's that human touch that allows a person to connect with the story, because you know that the story comes from a person, and because it comes from a person, you care about what's being presented on the screen. That's what Hollywood doesn't understand. And when you've got artificial intelligence doing the imagery and even CGI, there's no human connection to the material, and that again creates that detached and disconnected feeling that you receive when you watch this kind of media. And then when you have related to the voiceover technology, with this voiceover technology, yes, it can emulate a person's voice, but it doesn't have that real ring of truth, of feeling that you have when you listen to a human voice, because a human voice, really, you can connect with that human voice and hear a real person. And when you hear a real person, they have real emotions, and when they have real emotions, that can be conveyed on the screen. And again, some things when you're looking at film and television, oftentimes it's a lot of times the actor acting on their instincts as based on what they are believing the feelings of a character are. And these are things that cannot be replicated by even the most advanced computer, because real life made by real people is something that only real people can do, and AI cannot replicate real life, because the main reason why people love going to the movies or watching TV shows is because they get to see stories based on real life experiences, based on real people's ideas about life. And AI media is something that it just doesn't resonate as real, doesn't connect with the customer or the viewer as real. And many of these companies are basically making one of the gravest mistakes as related to business ever since the implementation of the prohibition laws of the 1920s. Now, those guys in the 1920s believed that prohibition would have stopped people from drinking, but what it did was create all of the organized crime. And I believe the same effect would happen with a push for AI, because as people become detached from business, they will start to feel like they have no connection to anything. And with them having no connection to anything, what's going to happen is you're going to have a moral decline, like what you saw during the days of prohibition. Because if you've got AI robots making media, what are real people going to do? Critical question I would love to ask all of these people who want to push for AI, because if people don't have jobs because you replace them on the job, what are they going to do to make money? Because if they don't have money from the job you replace them on, that makes it where that person is going to be in a place where they're desperate and they're going to look to commit crimes. Moreover, many of those people, as they don't have money, are not going to looking to buy your products, and that leads to a critical question I have always looked to ask many of these executives. If you replace people with AI, who's going to buy your shit? Because working people have money to buy products, and AI, yes, it's artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence is a computer program, and computer programs don't make money. They don't get paid, and because they don't get paid, they don't buy anything. This is the dot that these wealthy folks in big business, Hollywood and corporate America, have not connected. And as they're getting caught up in their feelings about making money, they don't understand that the only way you make money is if you sell products to real people, because artificial people don't have real money. And since artificial people don't have real money, they cannot go out here and buy real products. And if they can't buy real products, guess what? You don't get to make any real money. That's what many people are not understanding about this whole heavy investment in virtual products like AI. AI, yes, you can make artificial material, but artificial material don't make real money because it doesn't make a real product that resonates with real people. That's what they don't understand over at places like Google and big tech, and places like Hollywood and corporate America. These bean counters, which are basically nerds, are so caught up in the technology and the profits they can make from that technology that they don't see how it doesn't serve people. Because if you're in business, your job is to serve people, because it's people who you need to be working in order to make money, and you need people who make money to be having money in their pocket to the point where they can afford to buy your products. That's what many of these individuals don't understand, because they're disconnected from having real relationships with real people, and they're not connecting with real people. And because they're not connecting with real people, they can't see real people. That's the big problem with many of these individuals. They can't see the real people's lives that are being damaged by this technology, and that's something these people haven't seen since the days of the smartphone, which really was considered to be a technological marvel, but as I see it, has been a technological monster that has basically led to the destruction of interpersonal human relationships, because ever since the advent of the smartphone, we have seen a complete decline in people's social skills and interpersonal skills, and this was exacerbated by the COVID-19 lockdowns that were implemented by nerds And those nerds didn't understand how that had a further impact on people's whole ability to socialize, because now we have children who have poor communication skills, poor interpersonal skills, and it's only getting worse. And the advent of AI will make people less social and more antisocial, looking to use machines to connect with instead of looking to connect with real people and have real relationships with real people in real time. I mean, what I'm seeing with this push for tech is it's pushing people away from each other. And as people are being pushed away from each other, they're becoming more and more depraved, more and more antisocial. And I believe AI media would lead to people not looking to even be interested in even watching that media, because it's going to lead to people who, again, are out of work, not even having the money to even pay to watch this media. Now, these same people will sit there and say, oh, we can have universal basic income, but the whole thing is, how can you have UBI if nobody's working to pay any taxes? Again, critical question I want to ask the big tech nerds who haven't really connected the dots on how real people have a real impact on an economy, and real people who, if they don't have a purpose in life, wind up wandering aimlessly and wind up creating situations like I saw growing up in the South Bronx, in the ghettos of the South Bronx, where we had the welfare state, where many of these people, because they had no connection to people and no purpose at all, started heading down a self-destructive road. And that is the great irony of this great tech society. Yes, you've got great technology, but the people are just lost, and they're lost because they have no connection to anyone, no connection to anything, and you wind up with an empty society filled with empty people who are as cold and as apathetic as machines, because they live in an artificial world created with artificial facts that are completely distorted. Because the whole thing is, with media, you need real people to create real stories from real life experiences, and AI can only create what it's told and programmed. And that's a very, very troubling thing, because instead of us getting real things, we're getting a whole bunch of artificial stuff. And you have many in media, like with Sports Illustrated, they were sitting there thinking, oh, we can have AI do the articles, but if AI does the articles on real sports events, then how are we getting real experience? Another critical question I want to ask those who are in corporate America. And if you have AI out here, there's an ethical conundrum as related to news, because this same AI can be used to distort facts as related to news, and it can be used to manipulate facts as related to news to make narratives that don't really fit the truth, and because what we're getting is an artificial picture based on somebody's opinion and not getting an actual picture of what's going on. That's what's really dangerous about AI from an ethical standpoint. You have this artificial intelligence generating stories about things and generating media out here. It's a really bad thing. And again, I see it as one of the worst forms of technology. I mean, one of the worst ones ever made. And many of these people, I believe, will rue the day about AI the same way they're ruining the day right now about these electric cars. They're regretting making these electric cars because clearly they see that these cars are not the ideal. But that's what happens when you're dealing with people who are caught up in ideals. They don't take the time to vet anything to see if it's viable in reality. And that's the big problem with AI right now. Many are not really vetting this whole technology to see how it's going to work in real people's lives. No, like nerds, you're just caught up in your emotions about this brand new toy, not understanding how this brand new toy can destroy the lives of everyone around them if it's out here and it's presented in a way without anybody to present it as an ethical fashion. Now, personally, I believe that AI just needs to be banned all around. I believe this technology does not have any good ethical use at all in society. because artificial intelligence cannot replace human creation. Creation is a human thing, and it comes from people's life experiences. It comes from their passion, and a machine doesn't have the passion that a human being has, because part of life as a human being is the ability to create, and this is all part of what develops a person to create things and invent things in society. I mean, this is what the Bible calls an evil invention, this AI, because it takes away man's ability to create, takes away man's ability to imagine, takes away man's ability to be able to go out and fulfill his purpose under God's order. It takes away from everything about man and takes it down the road to becoming on the world to dealing with an abomination, because that's what I believe AI is, an abomination. And this whole technology, as I see it, is one of the worst things to happen and could lead to not a revolution like many of the tech nerds believe, but a devolution of humanity, and lead to humans not really seeing humans as people they can relate to. Now, if you want to pick up some of my positive fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find all of my books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format, and you can also find many of those books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. Now, if you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other 2 books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online booksellers everywhere today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.